been, man?
I'm on the mend, finally.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy about this is like I'm sure you noticed this too. Is for the past 2 to 3 years, I've not caught hardly anything. Like a sniffle, maybe an allergy, but like when I have so Sundays is like my big check-in day. That's when everybody floods me with check-ins, which I tell them to. That's what I want. But I noticed when I see, hey, coach, I'm sick, I'm just going to skip this week or wait till later in the week, I already know 50% of them is going to tell me the same thing. Because when stuff goes
Always.
around, it goes around.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've seen so many people just go through like these waves of illnesses. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I know I'm not invincible. I must be one of the luckiest motherfuckers on the planet. And finally, it caught my ass like 2 days ago.
Well,
It wasn't
and it,
terrible.
but you notice that sometimes when it doesn't get you often, when it gets you, it could be pretty bad, you know?
I got lucky, man. To be honest, I was expecting to just get brutally pulverized from this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was just about a day and a half of hell. But outside of that, I think I've done pretty good. Only thing I screwed up on was my dumb ass. Matter of fact, I still got them sitting over here, but acetaminophen just for taking care of like your Tylenol for fever.
Yeah, yeah.
And my fever was high for like 3 days. And I thought my acetaminophen was 250 milligrams and they're 500. And, I got to think, I was like, well, hell, it's just fucking Tylenol. What's the big deal anyway? And I didn't realize Tylenol can actually be fatal if you're taking it in like super high amounts. And I was
I
using
did.
about, I think the fatal dosage is 12 grams. Dude, I got up to 7 to 8.
You, you get close,
I
man.
thought I was doing 3.5 to 4 because I thought I was doing 250 milligrams per
Yeah.
tablet and 500 per tablet.
Holy
So I
shit.
was doing double. Like I know 3 to 4 grams of Tylenol don't hurt you, but when you get to that 8 marker, I bet you if
Yeah.
I bet my liver enzymes are like 300 right now.
Did, did you feel did you feel something like something was wrong?
You mean
Let's
like
see.
from the acetaminophen?
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to
Couldn't
tell.
tell at all. It didn't help me though. That's the thing. Is like I thought it was going to break the fever.
Yeah.
Nah, didn't do shit.
Hey, so okay, so I hadn't been sick for like I don't know, it's been a minute, maybe 2 years, 3 years. But the last time I got sick, uh, I was so congested because I also have asthma, you know that, right? And I have like respiratory history of respiratory issues. So I bought this nasal spray. Somebody told me about it. They was like, "Oh, this nasal spray is gonna clear you up," and I took it. I'm like, "Wow, this feels good." I never knew I could feel so much better when I'm sick. So of course I start overdoing it. So I'm like, spray it. How much did you take? Okay, they said like every 8 hours or something. I'm like, you know what? It kind of wears off after 4 hours. I'm gonna take it every 4 hours. Then I was like, you know what? It feels so good. I'm gonna take it every 2 hours. I start noticing, I start getting anxious, right? I'll be at the gym and I get anxious, but just weird. I've never been like an anxious person. I'll be there. I'm like, okay, if everybody looking at me, I felt weird. I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, okay, and maybe it's like a mental thing. At the time, my ex was away for traveling. Maybe I'm like, maybe I'm just like, I'm feeling weird because she's not here. Who the fuck knows? I'm trying to make some kind of excuse, you know? Am I on cycle? Yeah, maybe it's the test. Maybe it's overdose. Just trying to make some shit up. It started getting so bad that I wanted to leave the gym. I'm at the gym and I'm so anxious and uncomfortable. Somebody talks to me, I get like weird. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. I think I need some help. I started thinking I legit thought I had mental issues. This is how bad it
What
was.
was the nasal spray called? Was it just Afrin?
I honestly can't remember. I can't remember, but somebody had recommended it to me. I had never taken it before. I might still have it here because I definitely didn't finish it. But it started getting so bad. I called my ex and I was like, I don't know if I'm having mental issues or I'm having like some kind of I don't know what's going on, some kind of episode. She's like, you kind of worried me. Then I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm hearing voices in my head, just the weirdest shit.
I
So
mean,
mhm.
I've never taken like I still do use Afrin to this day. I don't have to use Afrin if I'm out in your area because the humidity's low and my sinuses don't bother me. But here in Florida, I use Afrin. It's not recommended, but I use it anyway because nothing else seems to work. But I've never used it more than twice in a day. So I can't say anything else. But you may have had something since I'm thinking if you were sick. I don't know if this exists, but I can only imagine it does. If you had something that has ephedrine in it as well, so like if you're pumping a lot of ephedrine in there, it's stemming you up.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe that was it.
Something. Well, what I ended up doing is, I don't know. It took me a while, maybe a couple of days, and I put two and two together. At that point, I was ready to go to some kind of specialist or something. I'm like, this is not good. I'm losing my head, and I was like, let me just Google. I'm sitting there. I'm like, I keep spraying this shit all day. Okay, let me Google this, and I Googled the name, and I was like, side effects, and they're like, it could lead to really bad anxiety, increased heart rate. They said in specific cases, I forget the word they use, but kind of like you pretty much feel crazy, basically. So I'm like,
Psychosis?
oh, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, why would this just be over the counter? If like
I know, right?
I'm like, if I could, I've never felt. That made me feel bad for people with like mental issues. I'm like, if this is how some people feel all the time, I would jump off a fucking cliff.
Yep.
If you feel that anxious all the time, I wouldn't be able to handle it. Honestly, there's no way I could handle that. So I'm like,
I
but there
couldn't
are
do
people.
it. There's people out there with that kind of anxiety, and then like schizophrenia too. People deal with that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
yesterday I was kind of on the mend. About 4 o'clock yesterday is when it really just broke. But I had to take my truck in to get it serviced yesterday morning, and I was out of it. I did not sleep at all. So today's Saturday. So I guess it would have been Wednesday night. I didn't sleep. Like I did not sleep a wink Wednesday night. I'm sitting there in the car dealership, fucking hallucinating. Like I'm seeing shit that's not even fucking there, and I realized like after I come home, I was like, you know what? You're gonna eat a big ass plate of pancakes, and you're gonna smoke, and then you're gonna actually sleep. And that's what I did, and I felt good since.
like a lack of sleep.
I'm
Anybody
saying that's
who's
the cure to
been
anyone's illness, but that fixed me that day.
It's gonna help. Yeah, anybody who's ever been like really sleep deprived, that should have fucked you up too. That shit, you're
Very.
not you. You're not you. Um, when I used to be like, I used to get like, I don't know, like a week out, and my sleep would get so bad that by like show day, I'm psycho. I just my brain isn't functioning properly.
Well, I'm the
So
same.
yeah,
Always
yes,
was like that. Like
it's
I
not
knew
good,
how to
man.
smile and put on a happy face for the people that was there to see me, but like it's like I'm faking it till I make it, and I don't think I ever made it. Like I was just
Well,
faking the whole time, just pretending that like, yeah, guys, I'm good. And even the shows I won, like, oh man, I remember. You could probably find this clip if you want to put this all over this. There was a video that whenever I took this video when I won the Golden State, and the screenshot, my eyes are just
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm just like bug eyed, and everyone was like, he's on coke, and I'm like, oh, if you motherfuckers only knew. Like I wish I was on coke. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
it's the opposite. I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to stay up no more.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Coke would be it wouldn't be the best idea probably for bodybuilding lifestyle, right?
No, no, not at all.
Do you find that do you find you're a lot happier now that you're retired, just mentally, the way you feel?
Mentally, yes. But the one thing I will say, and this is, I used to think this is a bodybuilding thing, and maybe bodybuilding caused me to develop this. But like, I do have an OCD side about me. Like, I want things done this way at this time, and no excuses, no exceptions. And I used to be that way with just food. Now I've noticed when I set an agenda or a goal to do something, I still kind of have those OCD tendencies. But when it comes to just life in general, like for example, like if somebody said, "Hey man, next I don't know what's today. Today's Saturday. So say like Monday. Somebody say, hey, Monday, we're going to go do this. I'm like, cool, count me in. But bodybuilding, I'd be like, wait, no. I got to get trained. How am I going to do training? I got to get cardio. I got to get like 16 meals together. No, I can't do it, man. Like that would have been my attitude. So technically, I enjoy things a lot more. I experience things. It's like I try to eat as good as I can right now because I'm not dieting for a purpose. But like if we're out and about and I need to eat, then I'll eat. You know, it's not gonna be the end of my world. I'm not gonna cry about it. You know, but no, back then, like I would just been miserable.
It's funny. It's funny you said that. Like, somebody asked you about a certain date. My friend hit me up last night, and he was like, "Yo, bro, are you gonna be free June 13th to June 20th?" And the question stressed me out. I'm like, "What? Like, I don't know what I don't know. Like, what the
That's
fuck?
like
I don't know.
4 months from now.
I have no idea. I don't. I mean, I'll probably be in prep, but I mean, I don't know where my state of mind is gonna be. I have no idea. So I didn't even respond because I didn't know how to respond. Like, I'm gonna cross off my calendar. Like, can you at least tell me like what's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah,
what's
say
going on?
what's this going to be about, so you can make a judgment call.
I didn't. I couldn't answer it. It was like an unanswerable question. I have
When
no idea.
somebody asks me a question that's like far out in advance, I'll always hit them with the same thing. I'll say, I don't know, man. Let me check my calendar in a little bit. But what's up? What do you got in mind? Because I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
see what's on the table before I tell you if I'm busy or not.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. What I wanted to I wanted to say, hey, can you just circle back like maybe I don't know, maybe like a month from now, like but yeah, I don't want to commit because I don't know what I'm committing to, and then the timeline is just throwing me off. Like why would you need a week? Like what's the week for? Like what's going
It's
on
got
here?
to be like a vacation or something.
I don't think I'm gonna be interested. Whatever it is.
Probably not a vacation, not in prep. No.
No, no, no.
I actually, it turns out it was actually really good, but like it was an unscheduled vacation and it was also an unscheduled prep. But when I won that Golden State show, I technically started my diet at like 6 weeks out, if you want to call it that. But I left for Trinidad like 3 days later because I already had this thing booked and planned, like for
Yeah,
guest posing. And I just tried to stay as close to my diet as I could while I was there. So I got like 5.5 weeks of actual prep and still won the show.
yeah,
But like
yeah.
that was my first time of just telling myself, you know what? Fuck your macros, fuck your calories. You're just gonna have fun. You're just gonna do what you want
Wow.
to do. You're gonna have fun. And turns out, I think by me having fun, my cortisol and stress levels went down, and it actually made me better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I just know I came home and I was like, yeah, you're right on track for 5 weeks out. Let's do this.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
worked.
When you have the kind of metabolism that some of you guys have, I think the least amount of stress you could give your body usually because Stu kind of has that crazy metabolism, and I feel like the less is better. I
Yes.
honestly feel like I think Stu, you see how lean Stu is right now and peak off.
It's pretty
Like,
big right now as well.
he does. I honestly think he could do like a 8 to be safe on the safe side, an 8 week prep, no problem.
I think he could do 8. He could easily do 8 and be shredded.
I think so. Shit, if anything, not only was he ready early, I thought he was so ready that he was actually getting small, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree, man. This past year, I feel like what we saw in the off season, that muscle that he gained didn't translate to the stage because remember how he said they were going to do it really slow?
yeah,
I mean, I don't want to question Stu and I don't want to question Blue either, but I just don't think that approach worked well for him. I think because he does get in shape quickly and he can stay in shape pretty well, I think a good 8 weeks, just push him hard for 8 weeks. I think he's good to go.
yeah, yeah. And granted, on stage he didn't look small or flat because he did fill out, but I feel like he could have been even bigger. I feel
That's
like
what
he
I'm
could have
saying
been
though.
bigger.
Like he may not have been flat like in regards to like glycogen, but I think he may have lost a little bit of muscle just due to the duration of the diet, the length of the diet.
I think so too. I also
Fast
we talk.
metabolism guys just don't do well with long preps.
No, yeah, good point. I also honestly don't believe we kind of talked about this on episode. We were talking about his glutes, but in general, his entire body. I don't think he's gonna be somebody that no matter how low you bring him or how lean he is, he's gonna have like crazy detail. Like let's see, like you know how Sean Roden had these crazy tie-ins and lines. I feel like Stu is gonna be lean, and he's always lean. But I don't think him trying to get smaller or leaner is gonna bring out some new lines, right? I think his condition is. I think that's how his body looks when he's in shape, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think he's going to win a show this year. I really do. I think this will be his year to win one.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, him working with Blue, they've been together for a long time, and Blue seems like the type of guy who takes notes on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like most good coaches do. We may not handwrite them down, but at least we got them up here. And I feel like they learned a little. I feel like they had to have learned a little bit of a mistake from that past season. And once he nails it, because there was one or two shows that I think he was like spot on, and then there was one or two shows I thought he was a little bit off.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if he can bring all of his size, his fullness, and be spot on, like there's not a whole lot of guys that can beat him.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, he
He,
may get unlucky and step into the lineup where you know the next Martin could come out of nowhere and beat him. I mean, it's possible,
yeah.
or maybe you got a Nick that comes out of nowhere and beats him. But like for the most part, I think he's going to be, one to look at any show he does.
I think since he's been a pro, I think he's cut out. I think he could have won a show last year. I think he could have won a show his rookie year if he did enough shows. But I mean, his first year he was working a job, and his last year his body was starting to go backwards. So there's reasons why he didn't continue. But yeah, these past couple of years, if he would, I mean, we've seen the winners of the shows after he stopped. I think he could have beat. I think he could have beat some of these guys for sure
Yeah,
who qualified. It's just a matter of not
yeah. But based on what
like
I know
timing.
about Stu, he doesn't want to beat the last place of Mr. Olympia. He doesn't
No,
want he doesn't want to beat that guy. He wants to go in and beat. And this sounds like I'm talking bad on other people, but it is what it is. He wants to beat somebody with a name already. Like I think he wants to be able that because if everybody's on their pro debut, it's not really that impressive. But if you got a guy, let's just take Nathan. Nathan's been seventh at the Olympia. Knock Nathan out. I'm not saying he can beat Nathan. I'm not saying he can't, but I'm just picking Nathan as an example. I'm like, yeah, I just knocked the guy who's seventh place at the Olympia out. Or better yet, what if he knocked Nick out?
yeah,
Nick's been third. I don't know if I don't think he's going to be Nick, but I'm just saying theoretically, if he did, that's the type of win I think Stu's looking for. He's not looking to go to a lineup where everybody's making a pro debut and he's the seasoned vet and wins it.
well, that's why his pro debut was New York, right? How many guys want to debut in New York, right? He could have tried to go. I don't know. I don't want to shit on any shows, but like Vancouver or Chicago is, like a show that's not going to be as stacked. But he
Yeah,
chooses these shows on
everybody
purpose.
knows New York's going to be big. No matter, I don't care what year it is. You're not going to go to New York and have your top three is usually pretty solid competitors.
Yeah, yeah,
We've seen some years that was like the year that Dexter won it, man. I don't know if that was like 2017, 18 range. Dexter
I was
was
there when he beat Rolly, right?
yeah, that was a stacked lineup that year.
Yeah, there were some other guys in there. Which I
Nathan
think
was there.
Kuklo might have been there, but don't
I
quote
think
me.
Kuklo and
I think
Nathan were
Kuklo right
both
there.
there. So I mean, that was a really good top five.
There was some big European guy that made a comeback. It was Fedorov or something like that.
Oh
He was
yeah,
just,
Alexander Fedorov.
and he was just huge. I mean, he his physique looked unconventional, I guess you would say, but it was really impressive in person. You know,
In his prime, his old videos before he had a couple of injuries, right?
Yeah, he did. I think he
He
had
had
a.
something, I don't remember what it was, set him back. But before he had those injuries, that dude was a freak show. He was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on his way to the top. And then for me personally, I would not have made that comeback because I would never want to step on stage bringing anything less than what my absolute best is.
I agree. Yeah. Well, that kind of guy, if you would have seen him post for you at the gym, you probably would have thought he would have won the whole show. You know,
Yeah,
or imagine seeing him and Dexter at the gym working out. You would be like, Dexter can't beat this guy. You
yeah,
know, and,
that's a
until you,
structure. And, and Alexander was pretty hard too, right? He gets in shape.
he was hard. Yeah,
Yeah, just a structural thing where Dexter has a smaller waist, rounder muscles, and he's prettier. Just like when he poses and he flexes, like it just flows.
exactly.
Versus Fedorov is just a lot of muscle.
Yeah, yeah. Dexter comes alive under the lights because walking around the venue, Dexter kind of just looks like a athletic bodybuilder, and then Rolly looks crazy, and then all these other guys look crazy, and then once Dexter steps on stage under the lights is when he comes alive. I remember when pictures were circulating, people, hey, when pictures were circulating after the show, people were like, "How did he beat Rolly?" Because Rolly's so big and he was in shape, but you got to see it. Sometimes you have to see it in person. Um, Honestly, Rolly standing there like not posing, he looks like he's not in shape at all. He looked like he
That
was
was one that was very
so soft.
controversial, right? Because a lot of people had Rolly winning that.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I had him winning it initially until I watched the video.
yeah, yeah. Well, from the photos, he looks like the clear winner because when he's in that pose and not live action, he looks in shape because he is in shape. It's just that when you have that much muscle and you're that
When he
full,
relaxes,
he
when he
looks
stops flexing, yeah.
he looked off season, yeah, and he relaxed a lot because he was like he couldn't catch his breath, you
He's
know.
he's never been able to do that.
No,
That's the thing. Him doing Steve's show was a bad move, or actually, him just getting in front of Steve is a bad move because Steve likes to pose the shit out of you,
yeah, yeah,
and he's never been one that can hold a pose for very long. Like, I feel like when he does a 60, I think they get 3 minutes as a pro. He'll only do like a typical 60, maybe 75-second routine because I think that's all he's got
yeah.
energy wise.
Look at his face when he hits these poses, though.
He's
He's
struggling.
he's posing too hard, though. Also, you know, think about if you have that much muscle. First of all, honestly, if he just lifts his arms up, he didn't even have to flex his arms. He would already look good in the pose. But he's contracting the muscle so hard, and he's wiping his sweat. It's like I don't think he needs to pose that hard. Dexter, when
No.
he's posing, Dexter looks like not as bad as like Andrew, but Dexter's kind of just like chilling, just like just hit the pose, And then this guy's squeezing everything, and he gets the face going, and see all the lines in his face, yeah. And I'm like, I think he's posing too hard to begin with,
Yeah,
you know.
there's a fine line. I remember Bob Chick came out and said you barely need to flex, which I disagree with that. I think you need to actually hit it a little bit, but at the same time, you don't need to squeeze every bit of energy into every single pose.
Yeah,
If you're
yeah,
trying to flex every single muscle as hard as you can on every pose, that's great if you only got one round of posing. But if there's going to be multiple rounds, you're about to lose a few placings.
yeah. He caught like an ab cramp at that show as well, and
Ooh,
that's not his first time. Well,
that sucks. I've never had one on stage, but I've had them in the gym. Man, it cripples you.
Vody used to get that almost every show. I've seen videos of him getting and then he'll try to stretch it out, and then he'll wipe the. He gets that often. It might have to. It could do with the peaking, but honestly, I think it's his posing. I think he poses so fucking hard, and that's one of those things that happen.
Not
Um,
smart, but what's
yeah,
crazy is a guy of his caliber and with the people in his corner. Either one, they have no idea what they're doing, or two, he's too stubborn to listen. I'm not sure which one.
I'll,
Because at some point, somebody has to have told him, "Hey, man, you're doing this all wrong."
yeah. It seems most likely that also people in your corner, you might have yes men. Some people are scared to offend you, right? Some
Keep
people
in
also
mind, Grandma wasn't afraid to offend him.
no, she wasn't. But that's why he was always spot on with grandma. Yes, he wasn't 280 pounds, but he was always perfectly peaked, tan to everything to posing. Grandma had him on point. He
Yeah.
just he just wanted to. I get it. He wants to move up, and he I guess he had to get bigger to do that. Um, but it's one of those things. But speaking about that, I was gonna mention when you were talking about Stu. Um, I feel like Stu and his coach feel like they need to try something different, right? This is why they're trying different things because they want to win, right? They want to win. So it's like, okay, he looked great at New York. Just bring that. Steve Weinberg actually told him, bring that same look. Like that was good, right? But then he didn't win, right? So you got to think in his head, he comes back the same, and then he moves down. So he's like, I gotta change something. So they're like, okay, let's try something new. Let's try dieting harder, coming in harder, right? And it's like, if you're okay with just being like a guy who's in the mix, then just keep bringing the package they tell you is good. But he wants to win, so I can't fault them for trying to try different things because
Yeah.
something got to give. They're like, well, let's try something else. See if the judges like that. You know, I think because his physique is a little bit of everything. He's kind of aesthetic. He's kind of a mass monster. He's pretty peeled, and so it's like everything is like a 8 out of 10, and it's almost like they kind of just place him somewhere in the pack, right? I don't know. Does that make sense? He's like so balanced almost that he's kind of always there, you know.
Yeah, you can't really overlook him, but like I think I think it was Tonio that beat him in New York. That was like his pro debut. Didn't he get second place in his pro debut? Well, it
Yeah,
wasn't his real pro debut, but it was his rookie year as a pro.
it was, yeah, and he
And
got he got second to Antonio, yeah.
yeah, that was a very, very close decision. I had Tonio winning, but like if they would have gave it to Stu, I wouldn't have complained at all.
Yeah, well, yeah. So okay, so that happens, and Steve says, "Bring that same look." But why did Tonio beat me? Well, genetically, muscle
He
building.
just like he's got superior genetics, you know.
So then, how do I beat that guy? Like, what do I do?
The only way you're going to beat that guy is you're going to have to be bigger and harder than him.
Exactly. So it's like it puts you in a position where this year, I believe Stu wants to, from what we spoke about, he wants to come in bigger because you right. What else? You can't make yourself. You
As
can't
long as he
change him.
doesn't miss the mark on conditioning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. So
That's going to be the meal ticket to him. You know, it's like with Joe, for example. I told Joe, I was like, this prep, like the cow did not go the way we wanted it to go, obviously.
mhm.
And I said, we're going to basically revert back to when you were an amateur competing for the cow. I was like,
Primitive.
that's the type of dieting and that's the type of conditioning that we're going to bring. I was like, so you may not weigh more on the scale. You may you may put in a whole year of work and weigh the exact same things you did in 2024, but it's going to be a significantly different look.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I wasn't shooting to put on 20 pounds of muscle to his frame at that point, but it's more fine tuning it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. You have to try to know because I personally thought the cow look was a really good look, but the judges thought different. So then now you have to go. But what if you would have played the condition game and come in on the flatter side, and they're like, you need to come in fuller, right? You don't really know till they have to
I
give you
think
the
if he's
feedback.
got, with the muscle that he has,
Mhm.
even if he's a little bit flat, it's still going to be, because he was flat at the USA's when he won too.
Super flat, but it
Very.
was it was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it. Yeah, I mean, I saw him like 6 weeks out, so I knew he was flat. But if you didn't know him prior to that, you would be like, oh, this guy's huge, right? But
Yeah.
it actually worked to his advantage next to Janicki because you saw the condition difference. How long have we
Yeah.
been on about? We,
We'll go about 15 more minutes probably.
I bet, yeah.
We're on
So
about
yeah,
20.
okay, perfect. So yeah, sometimes you don't know till you throw out a tester. You know what the person looks like and they look great, but until the judge also, but do you agree that you're also judged based off of who you stand next to?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, if everybody's peeled to the bone and you're maybe like not, you're not there, you might just fall to the wayside. Whereas you get in a different lineup and nobody's peeled, and then this look works for you, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I still think he got super overlooked at the Cal for sure.
Are you talking about
Um,
Joe or are you talking about Stu?
oh, Joe.
I don't see how in the hell he possibly was not. They didn't even get him like top 15. I don't know about all that shit, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, when we weren't in the first call out, I was just kind of like, I'm going to stay and watch. But like, whatever happens after this really doesn't matter, because it's not what we came for.
yeah. I
But yeah,
think
you're right. You're going to be judged on who you're standing beside because like if you remember, like in the '90s, there was only a couple of shows, like that Grand Prix show, where like everyone was big as fuck at that show. Like I think it was the British Grand Prix. It's like if you're not the mass monster of that era, don't do that show. You're not going to win because everybody there is going to outmuscle you, and they're
exactly.
not out of shape either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, I would say at the national level, though, condition seems to be king. As long
Yes,
as you can't be small, right? But condition is definitely king. You'll see people with like not very good genetics beat the craziest structures and
yes,
that you've ever seen just because they were just in better shape, and that was just it.
exactly. Yeah,
You
at the
know.
national level, it really is more of a conditioning game. Like
Mm.
the guy who won the USA's last year. I actually spoke to him online. I think it was like his first or second show. Had to be his second show because he had to qualify to get there. But
Oh
like,
yeah, you talking about Austin?
super,
Yeah, Austin. He was on the podcast before. Austin, right?
yeah,
Yeah, he's a bit
yeah,
older too. Hmm.
yeah, but like he didn't have like the most aesthetic physique, but damn, he brought the conditioning, and that's what got it.
Yeah. Um, backstage, I couldn't tell what I was looking at, man. I was like, I'm looking. I'm like, I'm not sure what to make of him. I'm like, is he like old? Like what? I'm seeing like veins and all kinds of stuff. I'm like, he looks insane, but I don't even know if that's a good thing. Like he looked like scary almost. Like it was just gnarly shit going on. But he looked more aesthetic in the poses. I'll say that. Like walking around backstage, it looked like just random muscle in the random parts. So we were all kind of looking at him. We didn't know what to make of him. Like who? I don't. You can't really tell, right? So on stage though, his physique comes together under those lights. He was peeled. He was definitely peeled. And
Yeah, that's what got it for him. I feel like, at the national level, and I knew for myself as well, like whenever I turned pro, it's like, you could show up at 240 and be the big guy and have a great structure and get talked about online, or you can do what Thackeray's telling you to do and keep your ass on this treadmill for another hour and keep going. And, I brought the conditioning and thankfully where I'm 5'8", I was one of the bigger heavyweights as well. But like, you remember like Jeff Long, right? Jeff Long used to compete as a super heavyweight so many times and would just get murdered. And finally, one day he gets in shape. And it's like, holy shit, here's your pro card, Jeff. Like, that's all it took. He had the potential. He just didn't dial it down right.
he didn't come on. Um, as far as the pro ranks though, you'll almost never see that. You'll never see like Roman beat like a Quint. You know, even though he's so much more shredded. I do feel like they factor in structure and muscle bellies and fullness a lot more in the pro ranks
Yeah, but
than the
you're also
amateur.
competing like the elite against the elite too.
Yeah,
Like everybody, I mean, I'm not saying everybody in the pro ranks has good genetics, but they're definitely better than average.
yeah.
You didn't make it that far on piss poor genetics.
Good point. Yeah. And they're not fat. Like if somebody's like off as a pro, let's say like Andrew, he's still in shape. He's just not like he's not Lunsford shredded, right? So it's not like it's so far off. Like oh, this guy is so has a bunch of body fat on him, right? So
Yeah, even when Andrew's off, he's still going to be, first. He's going to be first call out in every show but the Olympia, even off. And even I thought he was off at the Olympia, and he was first call out there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So I mean, him not being 100%, when you take the mass and the structure into consideration with it, it's a different story at that point.
Have you seen him in person, Andrew?
I have not, but I've seen him take photos with people, and it's people that I have met in person and that I know them. And when I stand beside them, I'm like, they're not that big. Or maybe I say they are big. And then when they stand beside Andrew, it's like, he really is a big guy. Like, you can't really ignore that. Like, when he stands next to other bodybuilders, he kind of dwarfs them.
I think he's the most impressive bodybuilder I've seen. Not the best, right? But like how imposing he is. I've seen Kai at his prime. I've seen a lot of like big guys, but they're muscular, but they're not as big as him. Does that make sense? I guess I'm talking structurally. Like
Yeah.
he's a bigger person than literally any other bodybuilder we know, but he's also very muscular, right? He's not like just a big guy, but then he's not. What's the guy? The Giant. We used to call him the Giant.
Jamie the Giant.
Exactly. Yeah. Now he's a big guy, but he's not really like filled in as far as muscularity.
Yeah.
Whereas this version, at least the version of Andrew I saw at Texas, he was like by far the biggest guy, but then also really round and full. And I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, usually you don't see tall guys that actually have a filled out frame. It's not common. They may be big, but they're not like fully developed.
Yeah. That's every single pro bodybuilder says Andrew is the most impressive guy they see backstage because it's just different.
I've never seen him backstage before, but I'm sure everybody says it. And like I said, I've seen the pictures of people who I think are big. And when he stands beside them, they're not as big as I thought they were. So that tells me he's pretty fucking big.
People couldn't even cheer for him. Like anytime he stepped on stage at Texas, people were either laughing or quiet because it was kind of
like the shock factor.
It was kind of weird. You know how they do like before they do the individuals, they just line them up, right? Just randomly line them up, like by numbers. So even for that, everybody kind of like, yeah, let's go. Ooh, yeah, let's not go for it. And then he comes out the lineup, and we all just look at each other like, what the fuck?
What just happened? Like, the show's over.
Yeah. There were like people there who are there for the competitors. Like you could tell they're not bodybuilding fans. And even them, like I saw like grandmas like, what the fuck? Like, what that? I feel like if anybody off the street would be like, that guy's gonna win the show. I don't follow this sport, but that guy's probably gonna win the show, Anyways, how you been, Justin? Same shit, different
I'm
day.
hanging in there, man. I really can't complain. Other than just this little mishap of getting sick, I can't really complain a lot.
Last time we talked, you said your dog was having like a barking, like a reactivity issue. Is barking nonstop?
Got him fixed. Yeah, that's okay. Tyson was just no matter. I've came to terms with that. This dog is retarded. There's no nice way to say it. He's retarded. He is. We've talked about him before. Like, we don't know what actual breed. He's got a bully head, and he's got a bully muscularity, but he's kind of short with short legs. So it's like, I don't know if American Bully humped a wiener dog and came out with Tyson or what, but something weird happened there. But he used to have this thing. Probably, I noticed it probably around July or August of last year. And it was just, he just barked and just ripped like 30 or 40 barks at one time. And by the way, he does not take well to being scolded. Like, if you yell at him, he'll just growl at you. If you so much as try to spank him, he'll bite the piss out of you.
Really? Oh,
so we got a bark collar. So when he barks, it shocks.
Boom.
And it only took I think when it got him the first time, it threw him way off. Like, what the hell was that? And he let
Yeah.
another bark, and it hit him twice, like just boom, boom. And I'm kind of like over in the corner. I'm like, see
Did you
what
get
happened
it?
to that. Like, is he figuring this shit out now? And I'd say he's been bit by that thing, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 times. But the thing is, he hasn't learned not to bark. He just knows that when he wears the collar, he can't bark. But if I take the collar off, so if it's like right now, I let him bark. It's fine. Well, maybe not right now because I'm on the podcast, but like otherwise, if he barks, it's okay. But like if I got company over or something, or if I'm trying to have a phone call, I'm just gonna have to put the collar on because he knows when he's wearing that collar, I can't. I have to keep my mouth closed.
Okay, so if he's barking and he's like, "Hey, Tyson," he doesn't respond. He just.
Doesn't give a fuck about what you say at all.
How about if you touch him like, "Apes"?
If
No.
you what?
If you like touch him, like under the rib, like stop. He still keeps going.
Depending on if he's barking to be barking, because sometimes he does that. But if he's
Yeah.
barking aggressively and you like try to grab her, he
Oh,
may
he go
see
back.
that as an attack, and he may come at you.
Damn. Holy
Like
shit.
I don't think he would ever attack you with, I'm just going to go fuck this guy up today. I don't think he would ever do that. But like if he sees you charge at him, he's not a dog that's going to back down.
Holy
Like
shit.
he'll stand his ground against you, and you're going to lose.
Damn. Yeah. Well, it's important to know your dog and understand not even the breed, but like what kind of dog like their personality, because you could have a breed, but they have different personalities, right? Like like you just said, you said he's slow, right? I'm coming. I'm coming to terms that my dog isn't the sharpest. He's not the smartest. No
He's a
matter.
bully too, right?
He is, yeah. No matter what I do training wise, he's not that bad, but he's not very sharp. He's super. He has no aggression. So like you said with Tyson, like he'll never try to react. He won't even react, bite you. He won't. So he's definitely like a really nice, affectionate dog. He loves to play. That's all he can think of. Fuck food. Fuck anything. Play, play, play all the time, 24/7. So people like him because he just wants to play with them.
Yeah.
But he's not very sharp. He's just not very sharp. Even playing fetch, no matter how much times I teach him, he'll do weird stuff. He won't just bring the ball back. He'll just do everything.
Yeah. Same here, man. Any type of toy you give him, he tries his best to destroy it, and he
That's
will not
yeah.
give it back. Like anything he can fit in his mouth, he thinks is his, and he will not give it back to you at all. So like the toys that we're able to buy him were limited because there's this one company out there. They make them different size, shapes. They make a ball, but it's like he's got this little shark toy that like if I took an axe to it, and I mean just a straight up axe, I don't think I could cut it with an axe. And it's supposed to be indestructible. And so far, he's had it about a month, and he hasn't broken it yet. But he did break one in the past. So he likes they're like those bully breeds. They like to chew. Like if they like chew toys.
They like to chew to the point that it's almost like way more than you would think they're capable of. Yeah.
Yeah,
These toys, everybody swears up and down. No, this is indestructible. I have a husky. There's no way he'll get through it. And like you just said, he hasn't fully gotten through it, but the toy looks fucked up. Like he's peeling it at this point. So I don't even know if that's healthy. But like he's gonna fuck the toy up to the point that he can't play with it. But no
well,
matter
then
what
they'll
the
eat
toy,
it. They'll
huh?
eat. They'll eat. They'll start eating pieces of it.
Yeah, no, they'll start choking and shit like that, and then
Like when I
that's
got
it.
Tyson, my dad thought he's like. I told Dad, I was like, "Don't buy him any damn toys." I said because you can't keep them. So Dad was like, "Well, I went to Walmart and I bought like $1.25 pack of tennis balls." I said, "You wasted your money." He goes, "What's he gonna do with tennis balls?" I said, "Go ahead and throw him one." 15 seconds later, he busted it. Throw him
Yeah,
another one. Busted another one. Busted another one. And he don't just quit there. He tries to rip them apart and eat them. Like he'll
Exactly.
have a
Yeah.
tennis ball ripped completely. It looks like I just took a knife and just opened it up like an apple. He'll have it
I know.
opened up in 30, 40 seconds.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like
So they
I don't know, his teeth must be insanely sharp, or he's just very, very powerful because dude, he can destroy anything.
like a simple game of fetch. It can't last because while he's bringing the ball back, he's chewing it apart. So
Yeah.
it's not
No,
the
we
same.
do have this one ball. The ball weighs probably like a pound and a half to 2 pounds, and
Shit.
that one is hard. It's got enough elasticity. When you throw it, it'll bounce, but it's he can't tear. He so far he's never able to tear it up. I feel bad sometimes though because when I throw it at him, it's like a 2 pound ball. One day I smacked him right in the face with it because he missed it. I
Yeah,
expected him to
yeah.
just catch it. I hit him right in the face. I'm like, yeah, sorry, bud.
Their pain tolerance is incredible, though.
Oh, he didn't hurt him. He just picked it up and ran away with it.
Yeah, I don't even think
He didn't
he
acknowledge
ran.
the pain.
He ran into like something at the gym. I was playing fetch, and he ran into like it was a bunch of shit. There was like a sled. I don't even know what hit him, but he ran into a bunch of shit. Comes back, and he's like bleeding from under his eye, and I'm like, holy fuck, what the fuck? He didn't even flinch. He didn't even notice it. He just wanted to play.
Yep, that's pretty normal for that breed, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll see videos of like, like a bully or a pit grab something, and the owner is like, get off. And I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I mean, you gotta have to suffocate the shit out of him, but hitting him,
Yeah, and the bad thing is when they latch on to something, they won't let go of it.
well,
Uh,
uh
I've not had this issue with him. Knock on wood, to this day, he's never given me a problem with another dog. He's possessive. So, like, my parents bring their Frenchies over and they got toys, he'll steal their shit. So like we just
okay,
decided not to do it. But he's not aggressive towards them. But there was one time I watched a pit bull. This was on my 21st birthday. And that's the only reason I know that's because I did not have a good 21st birthday. I'll spare the
oh,
details. It's a shitty one, to be honest.
oh
Uh,
shit,
but anyways, I was at this person's house. Don't even know the person. I kind of got invited because my plans went straight to the shitter. So somebody from school was like, "Hey, we're not going to let you just stay home on your 21st birthday. Come on out. Come on over." This kid had a pit bull inside, and it was kenneled, and he had a three-legged Australian Shepherd outside. The
right.
three-legged Aussie just ran around, did his own thing, and he told everybody, he said, "Do not let this pit bull out. Do not do it." Well, of course, when you got a bunch of drunk retards around, one of them opened the kennel. He didn't pay attention to any human being at all. He bolted straight out that door and he went straight for that Aussie's throat. Had him pinned down by the throat, and the owner grabs the collar and he's pulling on him and he's not letting go. He takes his closed fist and he starts punching the fucking shit out of this dog in the back of the head. He must have punched that dog 8 or 9 times right in the skull before he finally let go. That was the
Yeah,
only way to get that grip off of his other dog.
they actually usually get more aggressive when you hit them. Like when you watch like I mean, I know even with Kay, when I'm playing tug of war and he starts getting tired and I want him to keep going, I'll like start tapping him like, hey, and then he'll get more and more excited. Like the more hits they take, they get more excited. Or like the canine dogs, when they're training them, they'll hit them with the nightstick and they'll get
Yeah,
more aggressive. They don't want to let go when they get hit. They want to go harder. Like these dogs they're wild.
yeah, that was the scariest pit bull that I've ever been around because he knew exactly where to attack. He went straight in for the throat, and I would say another 30 seconds he would have killed that Australian Shepherd.
Holy shit! Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild.
just
Yeah,
so happens the boy that owned it, like I seen the pit bull run right past me, and I'm like, "Oh, who let the dog out?" And didn't even have time to think. He had that other dog pinned down.
yeah,
Like he wanted to kill him for whatever reason.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I just
So
watched this kid just like close fist just beat the shit out of that dog. Just not for animal abuse, but to protect his other dog.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, to be
that's
fair
wild shit.
about it, um, if it had been me, I probably would have had to done the same thing. There's no
Yeah,
other way.
Yeah,
I mean, it would suck if I ever have to experience that. Like if somebody else's pit bull does that to mine, you know.
oh, that's a bad position to be in. Where I live, that shit happens all the time because people here they don't understand dogs, but they want to be dog people so bad. They love dogs, but they understand it's not all about love. Like dogs, they're it's about a reaction. It's not about emotions for them.
Yeah,
But they want to humanize them to the point that they think they feel these feelings like, oh, I hugged them, I love you, and it's like just because they're excited doesn't mean they're like, I love you, mom. Like they're not people. So
yeah,
I don't know why he would ever do this. I know why he would do this. He's not socialized. He's cooped up at home wearing hats and hoodies and shit and Gucci shoes and shit. Like he doesn't know how to be around dogs. He sees everybody as a threat. So if they're not socialized, don't bring him around my dog. Like, hey, let them play. It's like I don't think he doesn't look like he wants to play. They don't understand it. So every
yeah,
2 seconds you hear a dog fight outside just because people don't understand the nature of the dogs. The dogs are walking people. You walk around in West Hollywood, these dogs are taking off, and these people they're just dragging people with them,
yep.
and they only go when they're ready to go. So it's like people just don't understand that. They don't understand how it works.
Well, when I first got Tyson, I opened the front door and I have my left hand. He kind of pulls the leash, and I'm closing the door with the right hand. I'm locking it because I didn't know if I was going to be gone 5 minutes or 30 minutes. And I noticed he parked his ass right at the end of my sidewalk, and he didn't pull no more. I'm like, what's he up to? So I go back and I lock the door. My neighbor was coming down the street, and she's never seen me walk this dog before. Now, my previous pit bull that passed away last year, complete harmless,
Yeah.
harmless big puppy. Tyson, not so much. So she's got a big lab, and this lab is aggressive too. So she didn't see my dog sitting on, right at the end of the sidewalk. Her dog did. Her dog jerks her so hard, so fast, he pulled her face first into my front yard. I thought to myself, like people, obviously I'm thankful I have good neighbors, but some people are slap happy to sue you. I'm like, oh man, this bitch just face planted in my front yard. She probably broke a rib. She's not the healthiest person already, and she's got a hernia already too. And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a problem. So her dog comes right up and gets in mine's face. Tyson apparently knows how to fight because he went right for that dog's throat.
Oh,
He went straight for the throat. And Tyson, I mean, height wise, the other dog, I mean, it was literally it was like a lightweight to a heavyweight, except the lightweight won. And I tried to grab Tyson, and I just took my foot and I'm kicking away at her dog. 99% of the time, I would have had a gun in my waist, and I would have felt so fucking terrible. I would have used it as a very last resort, but I would have felt terrible to have to shoot someone else's dog to keep my own dog safe. That would have just been a horrible situation.
Yeah, you got to protect yours. It is.
Yeah, I mean, all that and protect myself because I'm in the middle of the dog fight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thankfully, I was able to restrain Tyson, just kick the shit out of her dog to get him back, and then at that point, she came to life to come grab her leash.
it's funny you say that. Kane was about like 6 months, and he got into a fight with like a 4-year-old lab with my neighbor. Kane was trying to play, and then the lab got like defensive and started like kind of like attacking him. So Kane started fighting back, but they weren't really biting. They were like fake biting each other. They were more using the body language. Like Kane was getting on top of him, and they were like physically fighting without biting, which is kind of strange.
That's like play fighting, yeah.
Yeah. It was just they were like snarling and barking. So it was like it was play that Kane was trying to play. I think the other dog wanted to wanted him to get off, but didn't want to bite him. So he's like trying to scare him. But Kane thinks, oh, he's playing with me. Let me play more aggressively. So
yeah. Sometimes they don't know.
So one thinks he's fighting for his life, but doesn't want to hurt the puppy. And the puppy is like, oh, this guy loves to play rough. So it becomes this weird thing. So now every time Kane sees him, he wants to go play with him, but this dog doesn't like him at all now.
Yeah.
So it became like a weird like a weird thing. But I know you gotta leave soon, but I want to tell you a story. What happened this morning? I'm sleeping deep in sleep. And then I'm having a dream. In my dream, I'm like on some kind of vacation or trip with friends or some shit. And then I'm like, yo, one of y'all smell like shit. Somebody smells like shit. And I'm like, mind you, when you're in the dream, you think it's real, right? So I'm like, shit. And I wake up from the dream and I look and Kane has shitted all over the fucking place. Diarrhea everywhere. So his dog bed, I didn't even try to, because you can take off the cover. I wasn't going to take off the cover. It was covered in
At
diarrhea.
that point, I agree. Just toss the whole thing. 40 more bucks, toss the fucking thing.
It's out of there. So Kane, he knows he's not supposed to shit in the house. So he's sitting there, and then when I get up, he lays down. You know, when they know they fucked up, he lays down. And I'm like, what the fuck? But then I realized he didn't shit the entire day yesterday. So that it was just in his stomach festering. He just had his regular meal. I don't know why he got diarrhea, but I got to keep in mind on that. If he doesn't shit for an entire day, he's probably gonna shit at night, or it's probably gonna be diarrhea. You know, but it caught me off guard, and I was, you know, you wake up confused and shit. I'm like, the entire place smells like shit. You know, I take it down to the elevator. The entire elevator smells like shit. I'm like, I'm sorry, people. That was my dog. They're probably like, yeah, you smell like shit, bro. You know, and it's just. It was horrible, but it is what it is. That's part of having a dog.
I had a very similar story. Like the first dog I ever owned was the white pit bull that I had.
Yeah.
And that was Vander.
Mm-hmm.
I had left one day for a meeting, and I'll admit I was gone for like 5 hours, and he was new. Now, him being a big dog, he can hold it a long time.
Yeah.
But I was also unaware of how bad his social anxiety, or sorry, like I guess you say social anxiety, like if he's not with people.
Separation with you.
Separation anxiety. Yeah, I said social anxiety. I'm the one with social anxiety, not him. But yeah, separation anxiety. So I come home and I had a walk-in closet and I had all my shoes like stacked very neatly, like around the edges of the wall. And I come home and I'm like, I smell it. He's shit in my house. And I look over at him, he's sitting there, and dude, his ears are tucked down, his tail's tucked between his legs, and he's shaking like he's terrified. And I was like, all right, where the fuck did you shit at? And I'm looking around. I was like, it's not in my living room. And I came back to the living room. He's still just sitting, he's shaking, he's terrified. I'm guessing he's gotten beat at some point in his life prior.
Shit, yeah.
That's the only reason why I could think that dog would shake and shiver like that. He didn't take any beatings from me, but anyways, I get to my room. He went to my room, was able to take his head and push my closet door open, shit in the closet, which had carpet too, by the way, and then takes my shoes and stacks my brand new shoes up on top of his shit to try to hide it. It was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. Like, you just stacked my brand new fucking Jordans on top of your shit. Thankfully, he didn't ruin any of it, but what pissed me off even more, I went to grab my shoe, and somehow when I put my hand inside the shoe, he had the shit inside the shoe too. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he left me with a mess that day. I was mad enough I wanted to rehome him.
I feel like dogs are like, they're like a prep for kids. Because I would imagine kids probably piss you off
way more than dogs, you know.
Oh, I'm sure. I think what would make me more mad with a kid, now maybe not a baby, but like let's just say like a 5 to a 10-year-old. That's different when you get into those teenage years when they start getting mouthy. That's a whole different story. But like a dog doesn't understand English or any other language that we speak. So like we're doing our best to try to mold him into the behavior that we want. Versus take a 9-year-old kid who can clearly understand what you tell him. He understands the word no, and you say, hey, don't play with this. Don't do this. And then he turns right around 10 minutes and does it again. It's like, what the fuck did I just tell you?
Exactly.
What did I just tell you? Like
It
with a
makes it so
dog,
much
it's like,
worse.
shit, he's doing it again. But like with the kid, it's like you understood and you still did it. Maybe that's why I'm not a father. Maybe it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like it would. I feel like it's hard. It's a lot harder to be a good father than we give fathers credit for.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and as a father, you don't really get any accolades. If you're a great father, you're just supposed to be that way. You don't
Yeah.
get showered with compliments. And if you're a bad father, you won't hear the end of it. Not even a
Yep.
bad father. If you make mistakes, if you make any mistakes as a human being, as a father, you don't hear the end of it.
Yep. You're criticized to the end.
So you don't really. It's something you have to really want to do because you want to do it, but you don't. You don't get a ton from it. I don't know. I would love to experience that one day, but I don't think it's gonna be that fun. But I just want to experience it just for the experience. I
I feel like that
just
ship pretty much sailed for me. I think that ship's gone. It's already sunk too.
yeah, yeah. I don't. I think I might have it. I might have it in me still, but it's getting slimmer by the day. It's getting slimmer by the day, and I'm not completely like I feel like I want a kid in theory, but I felt like that for 10 years. But theory and actuality is different. Is two different things. When it comes
Yeah.
down to actually, let's do it. Let's have a kid right now. I'm like, okay. Then you really start thinking like, am I really? That's something I
Yeah.
really want to do. So you can talk big, but when it's game time, then you're like, I don't know. Let me think more about it. So I feel like either way, I'm kind of happy either way. If I do, if I don't, I'm kind of cool either way. It's all good.
That's
But
kind of been my philosophy at this point in my life. Like, I'm definitely not trying.
yeah, yeah,
I'm not making any efforts. But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if something were to go wrong, fine. If it don't, that's fine too.
Exactly. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I know you're not feeling well. I don't want to hold you too long, so we'll end it here. But I wanted to ask you about some other stuff because Sam Sulek is just competed and Arnold is coming up. But maybe we can do. When is the Arnold? Oh, next weekend.
It's, yeah, I think it's next weekend. Yeah.
You think you'll? I guess we could talk about it after too. Either way, I guess we could talk about it because by then Sam would have competed again at the Arnold, and I guess we could just cover it then. You want to
Yeah.
do that?
Because the Arnold Amateur is usually like Thursday or Friday. So if we did like a Friday show, you could, I think the amateur's Thursday. So you could
I think
cover
so.
Sam on how he does and also the predictions on the open.
Yeah, let's do that if you have time. If you
Yeah,
have
just
time
shoot me a
Friday,
reminder on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we'll go from there.
perfect. Sounds good.